one of my persistent questions is, what if organisms are arranged on a network? They have neighbors in this network. They can interact with their neighbors and then occasionally replace their neighbors. Say when a neighbor dies, maybe there's an opportunity to produce offspring into that spot. And we find that, on networks where there's a small number of neighbors, cooperation is much more likely to thrive than in a dense, interconnected network.
Hmm.
This is a mathematical prediction that we can get out of the theory that we can then go and, test with real-world populations, either, microorganisms or, mammals, or in some cases, I think it applies to human behavior as well.
And just out of curiosity, like how do you decide when, or how does it, not just you particularly, but the field as a whole, think about jumping from like looking at organisms, like small organisms and microbes, to like mammals and humans? Like how do you, like, those are obviously big differences, and there might also be a lot of similarities. Like how do you think about the complexity of that and how that changes this type of behavior?
Right. That's a really important question, because we don't just want to draw a straight line between, okay, other animals do this thing and therefore, primates and humans should as well. Humans have culture, right? We learn directly from each other in a way that maybe some animals do, but is certainly not the norm for the animal kingdom, and certainly not in microbes. So humans are, the most socially learning of all, that we know of life. And that's a distinct evolutionary process in itself. So we don't just evolve genetically by reproducing, but our ideas evolve as we learn from others. And some of these social learning processes can share some features in common with biological evolution. So we, if we're kind of interacting on, with friends, that kind of forms a social network, and we can absorb ideas from friends or learn from friends and then share those ideas to others in a way that's at least somewhat similar to how, organisms reproducing. But this analogy can also kind of, it's dangerous to take it too far and say like it's exactly the same kind of evolution, because really these social evolution processes have their own important features that can be different.